Hello, Gold Derbyites. Welcome to another edition of Awards Magnet, coming to you on Thanksgiving week. I'm Deputy Editor Ethan Alter, and I'm joined today by Senior Editors Kevin Sullivan and Marcus James Dixon. Welcome, guys.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Hi.
We're almost at the holiday. Thanksgiving is almost upon us, so we're going to be able to kick back and relax soon enough. But we wanted to definitely come to listeners before we get there with a little bit of an update on the Critics' Choice Awards, which are going to be announced on December 5th. Now, when we come back from Thanksgiving, it's going to be a busy week. I was just looking ahead to the calendar, guys, so be ready for this. Here we go. Are you ready? December 1st are the Gotham Awards, which we've already talked about. December 2nd, the New York Film Critics Circle announces their awards. December 3rd, it's going to be the Spirit Awards nominations, and the National Board of Review announces their picks for the best of the year. December 5th is the Critics' Choice Awards, and then December 8th is the Golden Globes Awards. So we've got a busy week coming up after Thanksgiving, after we're all sweating off our turkey hangover. Are you ready? Do you feel deer in headlights just hearing that list?
No, I'm not ready. I need an extra week to prepare.
The reason we're jumping on the Critics' Choice Awards now is because when we come back, we're going to definitely be covering the Gothams. We're going to be talking about the Spirit Awards, and then we're going to have double Golden Globe Awards predictions for both TV and film. So you're going to be hearing it from us a lot next week. But that's why we wanted to focus on the CCAs today and just give a sense of what those are about and what you to look for as those nominations are announced and how our own predictions are shaping up. And also, we're going to do a Thanksgiving service and offer some recommendations for movies to see heading into this crucial voting period, and also movies that we want to catch up with that maybe, because we can't see everything. We try, but we can't see everything during the course of the year. So Thanksgiving is a good time to reset and get caught up on the things we've missed. So we're going to start off with Critics' Choice, but just to sort of talk about the organization a little bit. This is the Critics' Choice Awards are put on by the Critics' Choice Association. They've been going on in various forms since 1995. They're coming into their 35th edition. It's sort of an organization that features broadcast, radio, and online journalists and critics making their picks for the best of the year. And there was a little bit different, I'd say a little more populist than the picks that are often made by the New York Film Critics Circle and the LA Film Critics or Association, for example. They tend to go very esoteric and their own, they pursue their own interests. And I think the CCAs generally, you can see, tend to be a little more mainstream. I was just looking back, for example, last year, Nora won Best Film, John M. Chu for Wicked won Best Director, Adrian Brody won Best Actor for The Brutalist, and Demi Moore won Best Actress for The Substance. And 2 out of 4 of those went on to win at the Oscars. So, 2 out of 4, not too bad. Maybe not the best Oscar bellwether, but definitely those were in contention.
They try to be, though. They try to predict the Oscars. I think that's evidenced with their 6 nominees in each category instead of 5. Like, they're doing their best to make sure that every Oscar nominee gets recognized at their organization. And I loved that John M. Chu win last year. Like, that came out of nowhere because he was snubbed at the Oscars. He still never has an Oscar nomination in any category, which is crazy, but he actually won that. He gave a great speech last year. I love those moments when somebody comes out of the blue to win that you didn't expect to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. In fact, Kevin and I were just talking last week about whether or not John M. Chu gets into the Oscar race this year. We sort of determined he probably doesn't, even though Wicked for Good is everywhere thanks to its blockbuster opening weekend. So. But yeah, no, and this, the other, it will also be interesting to see with the CCAs, because this will be the first time that Marty Supreme is going to be in the mix. It famously wasn't eligible for the Gothams because it didn't submit itself. It wasn't ready in time to be shown to the voter groups there. So this is going to be its first entry into the award season. I think as we'll go through our picks, I think it's safe to say it's going to be well represented. I expect it to be certainly a big critics hit, if not necessarily. I'm still uncertain about its Oscar chances, but critic-wise, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think this is where we see kind of the arrival of Marty Supreme to the awards season. I think, and we differ on our opinions of it a little bit. I think it's going to play really well. I think that Timothée Chalamet is a marketing genius, also, and I think we're about to see his master plan start to unfold.
Yeah, and Gold Derby's predicting it will get in for picture, director, actor, and original screenplay. So some big ones there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's definitely a big critics movie. So I think, and having seen it at the New York Film Festival, a lot of critics were in the house. They ate it up. I definitely I can see it, and I'll see it. I can see it doing well too with the New York and LA critics when they announce their picks. Again, I don't know. I don't think it'll be best film worthy necessarily for them, but I can definitely see Timothée Chalamet's Oscar campaign hitting another level as he winds up in being announced in a lot of these races that are coming up this coming week. And then also the other film that's going to be in the mix potentially is This Thing On, which again wasn't eligible for Gotham's because it wasn't ready in time. But this is the Bradley Cooper, Will Arnett, Laura Dern film. It is going to be eligible for the CCAs, so you might see that pop up in the acting races especially. And we should say the CCAs just today. We're recording this on Monday. You're hearing this later in the week, but they released their below the line shortlists for some of the different craft categories, and Marty Supreme's represented there. Sinners was the big one, though, that had 13 mentions across all the short lists. And also Wicked for Good, Frankenstein, and F1 had 9 mentions apiece. So those are some of the big below the lines crafts categories that could factor into how the bigger races, but certainly those films are well represented in the below the line categories. Anything on the below the line stuff jump out to you, both of you? I'm looking over it.
I mean, I love seeing Sinners come out on top. It's always great to see Sinners in the headline. It's one of my favorites of the year. And I mean, to get 13 mentions across, I think there were 11 categories. Like, that's quite impressive. And I think it has more mentions than categories because of song, right? It had, what, 3 best song mentions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of similarly to how I'm watching these nominations for the arrival of Marty Supreme onto the scene. I think we're also starting to see, we're getting more and more evidence of the long tail memory of Sinners, and people are remembering this, and it is very much part of the awards conversation. And I think just kind of this monster showing in the short list is just kind of a tip of the iceberg for, I think, what could be a really dominant run at the very least of the graphic categories. But I think we're seeing the start of a much bigger story for Sinners.
Right. And speaking of monster, certainly Frankenstein. We've been mentioning all along how it's definitely been experiencing an upswing since the film festival season, where the reaction is a little more mixed. But Marcus, you've written several times how it's been a mover on several charts, especially for Jacob Elordi. So wouldn't be a surprise to see Elordi pop up in the CCA Best Supporting Actor nominations, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. Like, it's not normal for somebody to play a monster and get nominated. It's only happened a number of times, and I guess, would you count Emma Stone in Poor Things to be a monster? Maybe, yeah. But before that, it's very rare. So I'm kind of rooting for Jacob to get in, just to buck that trend.
Well, there was Sebastian Stan not that long ago. Oh my God! Sorry.
It's also funny. I mean, F1 also, again, with 9 nominations. That's pretty impressive to me. That film came out over the summer. It was a pretty big hit, sizable hit. But it certainly as a below the line contender. I don't know if it gets into any of the other races, but there's certainly a lot of support for its sound. I think it got the Ed Sheeran song got a music nomination. So F1 could also factor into the Oscar race in some ways.
Yeah, and they're campaigning it. They did some panels with Gold Derby. They did a press conference last week. I mean, even though it came out earlier this season, sort of like Sinners is, they don't want people to forget. So they're constantly promoting it on the circuit.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a disconnect with that. Is they're very much trying to play to the Top Gun Maverick playbook, with Joseph Kosinski obviously directing, Jerry Bruckheimer again. I don't think it's got the juice of a Top Gun Maverick, but yeah, I think keeping an eye on it for the craft categories is a valid point for sure.
Well, let's dive into our current predictions for the CCAs and where we all stand right now. So kicking off with Best Picture, again, we have 10 slots here for CCAs, just as in Best Picture. So, Kevin, why don't you give us your picks for the 10 that you're expecting to see at when the CCA nominations are announced next Friday?
Okay, so I should have updated this, to be completely honest. I'm looking at it now. This is a reminder for everyone to be updating their picks, because you can end up with something in there that is just wildly untrue. So currently my 10 are number 1, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Wicked for Good, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Train Dreams, A House of Dynamite, uh, Weapons and Wake Up Dead Man. I think that there's a lot of brain and a lot of heart, and there's one, it's called a fart. In this one, I don't think House of Dynamite has landed anywhere near um, what the expectations were. I think, especially considering myself as a Catherine Bigelow fan, it was certainly watched a lot. So I think that is something we shouldn't be ignoring, but I don't think you've seen the kind of reflexive bump that Frankenstein got, another Netflix release got. I think towards the end of my list is definitely the genre players that I'm hoping to see in Weapons and Wake Up Dead Man movies. Two movies that I really do love. That Wake Up Dead Man is just rolling out now, in Weapons, I think, is holding a special place in people's hearts. And so I'm hoping to see it kind of sneak into these more general categories on top of Amy Madigan's very well-deserved Best Supporting Actress campaign. But I think the headlines here are, I think One Battle is looking incredibly strong. I think Sinners has made a really incredible comeback from being released so early in the year. I think it's kind of made that successful leap to an award season contender. And then I think Marty Supreme will be the one to watch. I think Wicked, with its sort of middling reviews, I think it's going to be kind of carried along by the fact that the first part was liked so much, and the second, and For Good, is doing so well at the box office. But yeah, a few things that we're keeping an eye on here.
Marcus, how about yourself?
My top three, either any of these could win. One Battle After Another, Hamnet, or Sinners. And right now I'm going with One Battle to win. It's number one in my predictions, but I could definitely see the other two winning as well. And then rounding out my list of 10, I have Wicked for Good, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Bugonia, Sentimental Value, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Train Dreams. Avatar's a big question mark because nobody's seen it yet. And here we are, November 24th, filming this. It will have press screenings in the coming weeks, and I'm assuming people who hated it before are going to hate it again. People who loved it before are going to love it again. There's not going to be much change there. But guess what? The first two got nominated, and the first two won Best Visual Effects. So it'll be a player no matter what happens.
Absolutely agreed. And I like that you're still fighting for Begonia, which is good. I still feel like that one is, for me, has fallen off. But I think there's the Yorgos factor is you have to take into account for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Emma factor. I mean, they love that woman no matter what she does.
Very true. My top three are pretty much the same as both of yours. One Battle, a little flip. One Battle, Sinners, and Hamnet. I agree. I think One Battle right now, especially the CCAs, will probably win this group's award. And then after that, I've got It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme. Train Dreams is one that I think is going to sneak on there. I think this is where its sort of position as the little movie that could also starts. I think it was recognized at the Gothams, but it's going to continue here on a bigger scale. And then I have Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Avatar as well. I agree. I think the Avatar history shows that it's going to get recognized again, unless it's Cameron really messes one up, which I doubt, because every time he takes a shot, he generally lands it. So I think this movie will at least be as entertaining and visually out there as the previous two, and that's really always helped it propel it into the picture race, even if it hasn't won before.
What if it's so good that it shakes everything up and it becomes the Return of the King, Lord of the Rings?
Right.
We've seen crazier things happen.
Right. I'm here for it. Again, I've learned long ago, as I always say, always trust in Cameron, because he definitely takes his time, but he delivers when the movies do come around. So yeah, no, 100% agreed. All right, over to Best Director. Along with the One Battle win, I have Paul Thomas Anderson leading the charge at number one, most likely to win. Although Ryan Coogler, I could see a split. I could see Ryan Coogler winning Best Director and then One Battle getting Best Film. So I'm not leaving Ryan Coogler out of the possible win. He's my number two. Chloe Zhao at number three. Josh Safdie at number four. Again, with the critics, I think that I don't know that he'll necessarily get into the Oscar race for Best Director, actor, but definitely among the CCAs, I can see him recognized. Walcom Trier for Sentimental Value, and Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. I think one of those two will also go on to best director at the Oscars. Most likely Jafar Panahi, because of the respect he's afforded and just the story behind that film, the fact that he was imprisoned himself and based the story on his experiences and other people's experiences being imprisoned in Iranian jail. So those are my pick. Marcus, how about over to you?
I mean, last year John M. Chu won this, and it was a huge surprise. He was he had the cool factor going, and who has the cool factor this year? It's Ryan Coogler. He could easily win this, and you're right. There could be kind of a shift or a split where he wins here, and then a different thing wins Best Picture, maybe one battle. But I also have Paul Thomas Anderson getting in, Chloe Zhao, Joaquin Trier, Josh Safdie. And in sixth place, I have John M. Chu clinging on there for dear life. It's possible, but I mean, if it's not him, who would it be? Who would be my sixth? I don't know. There's too many options.
That is exactly where I have John M. Chu at six. I think it's not being able to quit John Chu. He did really a phenomenal job here. I think across the two pictures. I think that is truly an achievement. And coming off of the win last year, I can't write him off completely. But a lot of overlap here for me, starting at the top with Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Chloe Zhao, Joaquin Trier, and Josh Safdie before we get down to John Chu. I think it will be interesting to see. What I'm keeping an eye on with director is the interplay between director and international film. I think it's going to be, with such a strong crop of international features this year, the kind of requisite one best director slot for an international feature could very easily become two. And that's going to be an interesting storyline to play out.
All right, let's jump over to Best Actress. And I think we've all basically said that Jessie Buckley is winning this, but who's fighting for number two? Marcus, who's number two on your list?
I love the way you phrase that, because even as I go to events in Hollywood, people that haven't seen Hamnet are like, "Oh, Jessie's winning." I'll tell you after, two very famous showrunners, they have not seen Hamnet, but they're like, "Oh, she's got it in the bag."
Ooh, all right.
So I also am predicting Chase Infinity here. And I think there's going to be a sweep of one battle after another, not just at the Critics' Choice Awards, but everywhere. And I think she made a smart move to go from supporting to lead, because she has that screen time where you could have done both. She's kind of straddling both categories. She's going for lead. She wants to be seen as lead actress. And I think it'll pay off here at the Critics' Choice. I have Cynthia Erivo in third, and then Rose Byrne, and then Amanda Seyfried, and then Renate Reinsve in sixth place.
Gotcha. All right. Kevin, how about yourself?
Yes, some similar, some overlap with Sentimental Value and Rose Byrne, obviously. Jessie Buckley on top. I think Cynthia Erivo is my number two right now. I think a lot of the conversation coming out of For Good was just understandably centered around Ariana Grande, and we'll get to supporting actress in a bit. But I do think that the work that Cynthia Erivo did is a little bit more invisible, and I think really turns this character into a person, and I think it is phenomenal work. And Rose Byrne, Chase Infinity, and Emma Stone running my top five. Emma Stone is always just going to be a presence, and so I think regardless of how Begonia is kind of embraced in the more general categories, I think she can't really miss.
Well, we already know last week I advanced my theory on the great Ariana Cynthia Oscar thing. I won't reiterate that here. You can go watch that episode. But I will say for the CCAs, I do think Jessie Buckley has this in the bag. Cynthia is my number two, though. And who knows if John M. Chu could win last year. Maybe this year she comes out and surprises. Renate, I have at number three. Amanda Seyfried at number four. Rose at number five. And then Chase as well at number six. So I think it definitely clear. Most of our lists are pretty solid here in terms of who we're thinking getting into this category, it sounds like.
There's really something magical about Cynthia Erivo, even when she's like doing an interview, when she's not being alphabet. It's just her essence is something you can't look away from. And I think, Kevin, you and I were both at the NBC. What is it called?
Yeah, one wonderful night. Yeah.
When she took off flying, I mean, that was a moment that I'm going to remember for a long time.
Yes. The other thing I'm thinking about here is I followed awards long enough to know that a quote unquote lock as locked as Jessie Buckley this early is a little scary.
Right?
That can really kind of influence the conversation. It can, she could be taken for granted. This movie is not, is only just going to start rolling out soon.
I've got my key. I'm going to lock her in.
The patented patented Marcus key brought it his trademark key. She's locked in. Yeah, I don't know. I just any kind of foregone conclusion like that, I think has got the makings of upset. But I don't know. We'll talk about this in a bit, but I have yet to see for myself. And so
sounds like someone might be agreeing with what I said last week.
Oh no! Okay. I'm not subscribing.
You're not going to go that far. Fair enough.
The if-then wicked theory, but we'll see. There's some room here.
Right. Absolutely. All right, over to Best Actor. As alluded to before, I think Timothée Chalamet is the one aspect of Marty Supreme that I think is going to run the table certainly this season. I think it's a great performance from him. He's talked about pursuing excellence, and I think he captures it here. The film is his star vehicle. He's great in it, and the reaction has been terrific. And he's running, to your point earlier, Kevin, a terrific campaign behind the scenes as well. He's being very smart and clever with how he approaches it. So he's my number one for CCAs. I think that starts here. Number two is his mentor of sorts, Leonardo DiCaprio. Michael B. Jordan is my number 3. Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams is my number 4. Lee Byung-hun from No Other Choice. I think he gets on this list. I think among critics, No Other Choice has been especially really popular. I think he's going to factor in here. Maybe not the Oscars, but I think definitely among the critics, I can see him getting with 6 slots especially. And then Ethan Hawke, I think, takes the number 6 for me as befitting his recent surge. So Marcus, you've clocked you've clocked the Ethan Hawke surge, as it were. And a fellow Ethan, I have to support my brethren. So
too many Ethans. You're the real Ethan.
There we go. I'm the one.
It's interesting. You said Timothy is running a clever campaign. Social media was not very happy with that 18-minute marketing video that he did. They were just trashing him and trashing it. And I think it's kind of a mixed bag with Timothy off camera and Timothy on camera. There are some people that just don't like him. I'm not one of them. I love Timmy, and I hope he wins one day. Right now I have Michael B. Jordan at number 1. This in Hollywood, this was Sinners Weekend. They reenacted the juke joint. There was an American Cinematheque honor just for Michael, where it was kind of like a "This Is Your Life" thing. All of his friends and colleagues came out and spoke wonderful things about him. They're campaigning this movie like crazy. So that's why I have him at number 1. I have Leo at number 2, Timmy at number 3, Wagner Moura at number 4, Ethan Hawke, number 5, who just jumped into the top 5 at the Oscars as well. He overtook Jeremy Allen White, who I have in 6th for the Critics' Choice.
Yeah, I just was able to finally see Marty Supreme this past week, and I think earlier in the season I had kind of put forward the theory that just in the public sentiment, it almost feels like Timothée Chalamet as a 29-year-old is overdue. And I think if there's any truth to that, I think that combined with his performance in Marty Supreme is going to make this his year. It is a phenomenal piece of acting. It is a star vehicle. His charisma, his character, his on-screen persona is just carrying this thing. And also, if you don't like the 18-minute marketing video, I don't know. That's a genius. That is genius. I mean, it's not awards eligible, but I checked. But
what about the Webbies? Is the Webbies still around?
Oh, okay. Maybe the Webbies. Okay,
there we go.
Stick around for the Webbies conversation. But beyond that, I've got Michael B. Jordan, Leonardo DiCaprio, Wagner Moura, who's incredible in The Secret Agent. I absolutely love that movie. What a cutie. And Ethan Hawke and Joel Edgerton. Just some really wonderful performances here. So I feel like we're in good shape.
Over to Best Supporting Actress. Kevin, why don't you give us your Best Supporting Actress take, because you alluded to it earlier.
Right. Okay. So this will be an interesting showdown. Right now I've got Ariana Grande as number 1. I think that's Wicked for Good's best hope right now. It is a really stunning performance. I think a lot of ink has been spilled about her. it is a true movie star performance. This does feel like there is potential for kind of a cumulative award here for her, which is, as the just really kind of transcendent part of both of these films, kind of rewarding her for the breadth of these two movies and these two parts. And then number two, I have Amy Madigan, which will be interesting to see. I think even among Wicked's detractors, Ariana Grande was pretty much praised across the board. Amy Madigan's performance in Weapons is honestly one of the best acting performances I've ever seen. I don't think that is hyperbole. She's playing so many different levels, and immediately just kind of entered the pop culture lexicon and in the zeitgeist. And I was out on Halloween. I saw a few Anne Gladys's. I think that all of that together could make for a win, especially with the critics. And then my rest of my category, I've got Tiana Taylor in One Bad After Another. I've got Elle Fanning. I've got Regina Hall in One Battle After Another, someone I really would like to see get in. And then rounding it out, I've got Laura Dern in Jay Kelly, which is someone who's going to be appearing multiple times in the season, and it will be interesting to see if she shows up. She's such a beloved figure.
Marcus, over to you.
The Ariana cumulative win is very interesting. It reminds me, sometimes we see this at the Emmys where somebody gets nominated for season one, but then they win for season two. Maybe that's happening here. Maybe they're going to see Wicked and Wicked for two as sort of like this combined thing. And they're like, well, we didn't give it to you last year. Maybe we'll give it to you this year. I have her in second. Tiana Taylor, I still have at number one, even though it feels like it's fading. It feels like the conversation for her is fading, which I don't want to happen because she's so great in that movie. She's only in the first third or so, which is kind of like the opposite of Amy Madigan, who's only in the last third of her movie. But Amy also has the impact that you don't forget, like Kevin was just saying. I would love an Amy win here, and I have her in third. I want to bump her up, but I don't know who to bring down. And then I have Elle Fanning in fourth. I have Inga in fifth, and Regina Hall in sixth.
Well, I'm joining you in having Tiana at my number one. I think this is I think again, going with the CCA specifically, I think she could start the sort of bringing her back. I agree that the conversation around her has faded a little bit. This would be her way of re-entering the conversation in a big way. So I could definitely see her taking this one. But then Amy Madigan is my number two. Because I also think that also goes along with the critics. Critics really championed her performance. I think it could have easily gotten lost in the shuffle, but all the reviews singled Amy Madigan out for special attention. I think that really touched it clearly caught Hollywood's attention. I mean, Amy's Madigan's been around Hollywood for a long time. She's been nominated once before, so she's certainly a beloved character actor. But getting that attention, getting that praise from the critics, I think really did help in her case. So a win at the CCAs would certainly fit in with that. So I could definitely see her potentially winning this category for sure, if not Tiana. And then I have Ariana at 3, Elle at 4, Wunmi Masako from Sinners at 5, and Regina at 6. I think Regina might just slip on there, and we'll have a 2-1 battle nominees. But Tiana would win in a head-to-head matchup.
We all have Regina, which is interesting because actually, let me check the overall odds. I think she's a little bit lower. Supporting actress. She's down in 8th place in the overall odds. So I guess combined, maybe we're going to bring her up a little bit. But I could see One Battle getting all 6 acting nominations, like 2 supporting actress, 2 supporting actor, and then lead actor and lead actress. I could easily see that happening.
I definitely think it helps having that 6th slot in CCAs versus the Oscars. Yeah. Like with that bonus 6th slot, you have a Regina possibility. You have those possibilities that won't finish in the top 5, but that outside chance gets in at the CCAs. So. Speaking of the sort of the one battle acting thing, over in Best Supporting Actor, I have Sean Penn at number 1, but I'm also thinking Benicio del Toro gets in. He's my number 3. So I have both of those one battle performances represented. And I could see, as much as Sean Penn has sort of dominated the conversation, I could see critics going with Benicio because he's sort of had that late stage where Tiana maybe has faded a little bit. I feel like Benicio's only come on stronger as that movie sort of seeped into the consciousness. Like I hear people talking about him constantly, and his performance is terrific. It's a quieter performance. It's maybe maybe less showy than what Penn's doing, but he's the one that people really think about, I think, the more they think back on that movie, because it's such a quiet, confident command that he has. So,
And Benicio's not a polarizing figure like Sean Penn is.
right. Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. So that's my 1 and 3. In the middle between them, I have the Stellan Skarsgård for sentimental value. He's been the main focus of that campaign, and so I think he gets in supporting actor here. And then I have Jacob Elordi, as alluded to earlier. Paul Mescal for Hamnet. Again, not the strongest part of that film for me, but I think he gets swept along with the love surrounding the movie. And then I think Adam Sandler sneaks on for number 6 for Jay Kelly, a movie that, again, it generally doesn't seem to be landing with some of the bigger races, but there's a lot of love around Sandler, and critics would love, especially, to see him recognized, and this could help start give his campaign another boost. So I can see him sneaking on its ECAs. So, Marcus, how about yourself?
I have the exact same 6, but in different order. I do have Sean Penn at number 1, but I'm starting to reconsider that option. He really impressed me in the movie, so I'm like, oh, he's going to win. But a lot of times the people that impress me don't win, so I need to get over it. I need to get over myself. Paul Mescal was so good in this movie, and I'm glad he did go supporting. There was conversation earlier in the season, maybe lead, maybe supporting. I think supporting is the right place for him. He's supporting Jesse Buckley's character, who again is locked in for the win. Kevin, let's remember that.
You locked it up. I saw it.
And then I have Adam Sandler in third. I need to reconsider that. I need to bring him down, bring Jacob Elordi back up. Stellan Skarsgård and Benicio del Toro round out my list.
Yeah, a lot of overlap. The one I've got Sean Penn up top, but the one I have at 6, I think is the one I want to talk about, is Delroy Lindo in Sinners is so good, and I think part of that kind of comeback story in terms of Sinners campaigning more and getting back to the conversation, I think that is maybe the performance outside of Michael B. Jordan that really could get the bump. Just so quietly stellar, as he always is. But that is someone I would really like to see get back into the conversation in a big way.
Absolutely. All right, let's quickly run through. We have 4 left. We'll go do sort of a speed round here, so we don't keep people from their turkey dinner. Over in the best original screenplay category, I've got Sinners at number 1, Sentimental Value at number 2. It Was Just an Accident at number 3, Weapons at 4. Marty Supreme at 5, and then Sorry Baby, which is a film that did very well at the Gothams, and I think will probably win something at the Gothams. I think that's going to be to wind up on the original screenplay list of the CCAs.
I feel like original screenplay is maybe the easier category this year, and I think it's Sinners. I think it has it. Yeah. Rounding out my list is Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Jay Kelly, It Was Just an Accident, and Weapons. Oh, I'm praying for Weapons to get in here. This would be a great nomination.
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah, a lot. I also have Weapons coming in at number 6. I think that's a really strong piece of writing. I think this is going to Sinners. I think this is kind of within screenplay. I think you're going to see, people taking opportunity to distribute awards as they, You've got Sinners in original. You've got One Battle and adapted. It's an opportunity to get Ryan and Paul Thomas Anderson both trophies. I also have Marty Supreme for most yelling in a screenplay. I think that one's locked up. Yeah, but I think Sinners is got this one.
Right. Kevin, you want to take us through your adapted screenplay?
Adapted, like I was saying before, we got One Battle up top. I think that's just a really kind of unimpeachable bit of writing and then adaptation. Just something that takes the Thomas Pynchon novel and really kind of transforms it, and something so surprising and just so precisely constructed. It's one of the best pieces of writing I've seen in a long time. Then the rest of my 6, I've got Hamnet, Begonia, Wake Up Dead Man. Ryan Johnson, just his consistency with delivering great Knives Out movies is shocking. Frankenstein and No Other Choice.
I have Hamnet winning adapted screenplay, Chloe Zhao for the win on this one. How many people leave the theater just saying, oh, I was crying my eyes out? A lot of that has to do with Jesse Buckley's performance, but a lot of it has to do with the writing as well. And the fact that this is an adapted screenplay, Chloe's, on the campaign beat, championing the book and the author and saying how it was adapted and it's not just a line by line recreation. So I think that's all going to help her. Also, you kind of splitting the baby, Hamnet gets this one and One Battle gets maybe director. And that's where I'm thinking here. So I have One Battle in second, Begonia I have in third, Wake Up Dead Man in fourth, Frankenstein in fifth, and then Train Dreams in sixth.
I'm glad you mentioned Train Dreams. It's actually my number 3 pick, but the more I think about it, the more I might lift it to number 1. I have but One Battle there right now, and I think One Battle is certainly that seems to be the front runner. But I don't know. I think Train Dreams, given if it falls short, as it probably will in the best film and best actor, adapted screenplay is where it can make its mark. So I think the more I'm thinking about, the more I'm thinking I might move that up to my number 1 slot over One Battle. Hamnet is my number 2, and then I basically have most of the same choices. You both do Wake Up Dead Man. I think the past 2 Knives Out films have been nominated in this. Well, the first one was original screenplay, switched to adapted with Glass Onion, so I think this one gets in as well. And then No Other Choice and Frankenstein. So I think those scripts are very strong as adaptations. Best film ensemble. Here, I think this is where One Battle is going to win. In addition to celebrating the individual performances, just assembling that cast is a feat on itself. So I can definitely see see this being its statue to win. And then I have Sinners though as well. Love for Sinners. If One Battle wins individual acting categories, maybe Sinners takes the film ensemble. And then rounding out Hamnet, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, and Wake Up Dead Man.
That's exactly my thinking. I have Sinners number 1, thinking that we've got more individual awards going to One Battle. This is where you would reward Sinners for a pretty sprawling cast, all of whom, or most of whom, get some pretty substantial time on screen, and it does kind of fit how I think this award is kind of considered.
I might switch. You guys, I think you just convinced me because I have One Battle at number 1, but at Sinners at number 2, I might bump that up. And then I've got Wicked in third place. And again, it's the whole, if it was a TV show, season 1 and season 2, combining them together, I think Wicked is going to get credit for casting Ariana and Cynthia last year. And that's going to help them as well as at the Oscars in the best casting category, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks. And then I have Wake Up Dead Man in fourth and Marty Supreme in fifth and Hamnet in sixth.
All right. And last but not least, best animated feature. Can anything top Golden? Marcus, what are your 5 choices here?
I mean, I think it's K-pop Demon Hunters and then 4 other nominees. I don't even know if we need to say the other ones. Honestly, right. This is such a popular movie that it just got 5 Grammy nominations. I mean, that's insane.
Yep, I have that in my number 1. The one that might sneak on there for me, and I don't think it's going to win, but if Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle sneaks on anywhere, bring this up, yeah. I think it's going to be at the CCAs. I don't think I don't think it'll get in the Oscars, but enough critics know this franchise and love this franchise that I think it gets that 6th or the 5th.
So many demons. So many demons.
It made so much money. Yeah. I think it's one of the wealthiest nations in the world now. I think technically Demon Slayer. I think that is something to not be slept on.
Again, I think K-pop Demon Hunters has it pretty much locked up. I'm going to steal your
You owe Marcus $5,000 now.
I'll take some of the Demon Slayer money and just feed it through the screen to you out there. But I think Demon Slayer, is going to make a mark at the CCAs. Again, not sure about the Oscars, but CCAs for sure. I think you're going to see it pop up there. All right, so that's our CCA talk. Again, look for the final nominees next Friday, December 5th. And as mentioned earlier, it's Thanksgiving holiday, the perfect time to kick back and watch some screeners, go to some FYC screenings, see some stuff that maybe you haven't caught up on over this busy season. So I wanted to start off first, just sort of each of us giving 3 movies that we need to catch up on personally or that we're interested in catching up on. So Marcus, tell us what 3 you're hoping to spend some time with this holiday.
For me, it's the international contenders. There are always so many great ones, and it's sort of overwhelming, the number. There's 86 eligible this year. So I'm going to focus on the ones with the most buzz. So that's Norway's Sentimental Value, France's It Was Just an Accident, and Brazil's The Secret Agent. Those are my top 3. I'm going to see how many I can get through while I'm eating my turkey. And I need to put on my glasses to read all those subtitles, I guess.
There we go. Exactly. You don't be nodding off while you're reading. All right, Kevin, how about yourself?
I've got actually the two Linklaters, two Richard Linklater movies out this year, Nouvelle Vague and Blue Moon. It's kind of interesting to watch those two jockeying with award season. I feel like Nouvelle Vague coming out of Cannes, and it being so steeped in movie history and being about film, was kind of pinned as like this is Richard Linklater's big award movie this year. And I do think that Blue Moon, as it rolled out, as the movie was getting good reviews, and as Ethan Hawke was climbing in the rankings, has kind of become the more dominant entry from him in terms of the awards conversation. So I need to catch up with both those as a filmmaker. I really do love, and it's almost time I must submit myself to Hamnet. I have read about how my heart will be ripped out. It'll be stuffed with bread, with dressing, and then served on a dinner table for all.
But the nice thing is, give a pro tip: save Nouvelle Vague for last after you see all those, because Nouvelle Vague is a charming, upbeat, really fun film. So do Blue Moon, Hamnet, and Nouvelle Vague, and you'll have the full emotional roller coaster. The top one on my list to catch up with, Marcus, is when you had The Secret Agent. I know, Kevin, you're a big fan, so that's good to know.
Love.
I need to catch up on that for sure. It was one of those ones that kept escaping me at as a Toronto and New York film festivals, and I just didn't have the time, unfortunately, to catch up with it. So, but I have the screener now. I'm gonna watch it. Looking forward to finally seeing and see what all the fuss is about. Also, The Mastermind. I'm a big Kelly Reichardt fan. I loved Showing Up, her most recent film with Michelle Williams. I thought that was terrific. So I'm definitely eager to see what she's cooked up with Josh O'Connor. Sounds like some fun art world heist, which I'm always down for. I love a good art world heist kind of story. And then the third one is a documentary. I always feel bad that I don't see enough documentaries at this time of the year. And our great colleague Denton Davidson is the doc master and sees everything. So I should look for his picks. But the one I'm most curious about is a movie called Riefenstahl, about the director Leni Riefenstahl behind Triumph of the Will. I just finished a great book called The Director, about that era of Germany and the directors in it. And she's sort of a side character in that. So I'm really interested to see how the documentary interrogates her really complicated legacy and her affiliations with the Nazi Party, and how that factored into her films. It's a subject that's rife for interrogation. So I'm really excited to see that documentary. And then beyond the three movies we need to catch up with, what would you recommend that other people should watch? What are some titles you threw out there that people should make time for? Kevin.
I'm gonna say this, and this one's got an expiration date. It's Wake Up Dead Man, but do it before Netflix. Go out and see it. Rian Johnson. I don't know what he did to get Netflix to actually give this a serious release. It plays incredibly well with the crowd. It's a beautiful movie to look at. It really deserves the full theatrical treatment. And then once you've come home from Wake Up Dead Man, I would say the movie that I've been recommending kind of all year for people to catch up on is Splitsville, which came out, I think, in the summer, and is just so funny. Really just Naked Gun got a lot of worthy attention for being this kind of return of the theatrical comedy. But this is just a movie that's got is a unique signature, a unique comedic voice. It's funny. It's so funny throughout. And is, I think, something that could play really well with a large number of people. And that is absolutely, I think, something people should catch up with.
One of mine that I hope voters watch over this holiday is a documentary. It's called The Age of Disclosure. It's about the government's knowledge of UFOs or UAPs. And it's so refreshing to see a documentary that's not about war or about a celebrity that died too soon or about true crime.
Or poop cruises.
I don't think poop cruise is eligible at the Oscars.
No, okay. Sorry.
Maybe the Emmys though. But yeah, no poop in this one, but there are. I mean, it will convince you that we are not alone in this universe. It's very good. So that's something I hope they catch up on, mostly because I want to see it nominated in that best Oscar, best documentary category at the Oscars. Also, I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge horror fan, so I want, if there's any voters that are scared to watch Weapons or Sinners, get over yourselves. You're doing a disservice to your job as a voter. You need to watch these movies. You need to see what all the buzz is about.
absolutely.
And I could actually chime in from Chicken Corner over here. Terrified of scary movies. Those are two fine movies to watch. You can get through it. I got through it. You can get through it.
Yes.
What platform is that documentary on? Is it Netflix?
It's on Prime. It just went on Prime, I believe, on Friday, and it's already #1. So people are finding it.
Great. Okay. And the other two, I think, are streaming on HBO Max. In addition, if you don't have the FYC screener access, you could also find it on regular streaming platforms. For me, my picks. Speaking of going to theaters for Netflix movies, Train Dreams had a very brief limited theatrical release. I think it's still in a few markets, but it's currently on Netflix right now. I wish people could see it in theaters because it is a movie that really plays so well that way. But even if you can't see it there, watch it at home. Turn the lights down. Hopefully, you have a big TV. You can really appreciate the Pacific Northwest scenery. But it's a terrific movie and lands so well. So if you haven't seen it yet, now's a perfect time. It's a great contemplative movie for Thanksgiving. The other one I'd say, if you're into something for mood for something a little more upbeat, going back a few months, Black Bag, the Steven Soderbergh, David Koepp thriller, is there a spy world thriller, is really fun. It's on Prime Video, streaming now. It's sort of been fallen by the wayside in terms of awards, but David Koepp's script is great. I would love for it to maybe get recognized as an original screenplay. It won't, but it's a great script, and I really appreciate the way it's constructed. And then last but not least, Kevin's heard me praise this movie to the skies before, Testament of Anne Lee. Not everyone can see it. That's going to be out in theaters December 25th, but it is screening around the clock over Thanksgiving weekend for Academy voters and voters in general. Make an effort to go see it in theaters for sure, especially if there's a 70 millimeter version playing by you. I know they're trying to do as many 70 millimeter presentations as possible. It's an amazing way to see that film and just a terrific film. So I highly recommend that one as well if you're in the know and have those FYC connections. Awesome. All right. Well, there you go. There's your marching orders. We have our marching orders. You know what you guys have to see. Thanks so much for spending some time with us before and during Thanksgiving weekend. And as I said, you will hear a lot from us the week after Thanksgiving with all the award ceremonies come up. So rest well, gentlemen. Get plenty of sleep, plenty of food, because it's going to be, we're going to hit the ground running starting December 1st when we all come back.
Thanks for listening to Awards Magnet, Gold Derby podcast. Like what you heard? Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Awards Magnet is produced by Andrew Merrill. Our logo is designed by Chelsea Sakura. Please like and subscribe to stay on top of all the awards news and email us at awardsmagnet@goldderby.com.